Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. In this video, I want to share an update, holding myself accountable and updating my channel. This year is the year. It has to be. I feel the best that I've felt in such a long time. I've worked on myself mentally for years at this point, trying to heal, trying to come to understandings, and trying to correct attitude, perspective, understandings, just the whole thing. And it takes a really long time. Mental health is a very serious thing that really affects quality of life and success in life, and it's something that we have to take serious, and it's a personal battle, you could say. I've taken off a lot of time off of work in the past year or so-ish, about a year. And it's hurt me bad financially, that I shared in the last video. And in this video, I want to share how I am changing my finances, what I'm doing right now to get ready to start taking advantage or trying the strategies that people say to do to get out of debt. I have gotten myself out of debt multiple times in the past, and I think that depending on the circumstances and depending on the situation, you can have great big learnings from getting out of debt. But I think each and every time is a little different, but it's necessary to figure it out so that way I can learn what I need to do. So in this video, I kind of want to share that about what my current circumstances in. Just to share, I am in financial hardship or strain or stress or lack of finances or whatnot for my own doing. This is all my choice. I have taken a lot of time off of work, but I feel like I needed to do it for my long-term success, especially in my job, and especially for my life. And I am suffering a little bit now. However, like I said, I am doing the best. I'm doing the best that I've done in a very long time. I feel clear-headed. I feel motivated. I feel interested. All these things. I feel tired. I've been sleeping really well. I've been eating well, and I'm taking full responsibility for all my choices and where I am, and I'm really facing things as like vulnerable as possible, so that way I can really learn from it and see what's really happening, so that way I can correct. And so with the finances, like I said, I'm taking full responsibility. I took a lot of time off of work, and when you count how many hours you take off of work, and then you're like, oh, I'm missing a lot of money. So I have allowed myself to miss out on money. If I never took all that time off of work, I would not be in this current situation. However, I probably would not be doing so well mentally. So there's a cost to everything. And I just feel like, and that's just my perspective about it to share. Why am I in this situation? So to counter that, I have already made up 5.5 hours this week of missing hours this year so far. Congratulations to me. I am pushing it through, and I did a couple of 10-hour shifts last week. So I'm doing a lot better, and I know that when I get paid next week, because I get paid every other week. So next week is my pay week when I get paid, and I know that I'm going to have a full paycheck, because I'm not taking any time off. I'm just going to show up to work, do what I need to do. If I can stay late, I will, if I can do it. But it's tiring, and so if I need the time off, I'm going to go home at the end of my shift if I can. So that's just the choice. So what am I doing besides not taking time off of work and working overtime to make up some missing hours. I am adjusting my spending. Yep. I don't go shopping a lot, but all my money really will go to eating out, being lazy and like all of that kind of stuff, going out and getting coffee instead of making it at home, going and grabbing a burger instead of, making myself some corn dogs at home, one of those sorts of things. So I am adjusting that behavior. Yes. One of the other expenses that I'm having now that I didn't have before is I started having to go to the office in December because my work computer ran out of memory and I really need to get that fixed. And as I just previously have told you, I'm having money issues, so I can't just go and get my computer fixed. So I'm spending money. I'm spending probably twice as much as money on gas than I did before because I used to only fill up every other week. But now I'm filling it up every week. And I'm a little worried because I couldn't fill it up this week. And I got to also go to my doctor's appointment tomorrow. So we'll see. Well, it's not my doctor's appointment. It's the blood draw. So I got to go get the blood drawn, for the testings. And so fingers crossed I have enough gas in the tank. And I have like $2 left in the account that if I really need, I'll put it in the gas tank before I get paid next week. That's the life, you know what I mean? So, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it because I have gone negative in my accounts multiple times this year so far because of the lack of paying and the lack of tracking my money, lack of following my budget. I've just kind of been hands off because it's very stressful and it's not. It needs attention. So I have gone back, like I said I was going to do in the last video, and I went through my primary account, all of my transactions, and I categorized it, bills, spending, and like debt / savings. Savings is a 0, as we all know. My poor savings accounts are at 0. It's so sad. and I did that. And I have been overspending. So it makes sense as I have been negative in my accounts multiple times. And I did everything possible not to go negative since I think at least twice, maybe 3 times in the accounts. It's not a very good thing. Nope. So the goal is to write that. And so it will cause me to not spend. My biggest spending is just eating out because I'm lazy, lazy like that, like most people. And so I've been eating at home more. I have been just taking care, of my needs in that way at home, just warming up food, frozen meals. I clean all the stuff that I've been holding on to. I have either eaten or if it's bad, I throw it out. And then when I'm at the grocery store, I went to the store this morning to kind of stock up. I'm not out of food like I was. I think it was like last week I was like, I have no food in here. And I finally got paid because last week was my paycheck. And I was like, yeah, I can go get food to eat something. And it's not like I have nothing in there. I could eat something. It's just like I'm going to eat a can of beans. And it's like, I have a can of 3 bean, like a 3 bean can, one of those mixed beans. And I was like, am I just going to eat a can of beans? I do have rice, but so I bought some canned chicken, sardines. I have a russet potato and a sweet potato and an onion from last week. I also have a whole dozen of eggs from last week. And I have some milk from last week, but I had to buy new milk today. And I got a new loaf of bread, and I got the cheap store brand because I was like, it's either this or no bread, so we got it. And then I got some canned spinach and canned green beans, so I have some veggies. I do have carrots and then peas and carrots left in a can, so I can try to get some vegetables in. And then I got an emergency can of soup. And, and I got chips and Coke. I got myself a liter of Coke, and some barbecue chips that were store brand, which turned out to be really good. I got home and I was like, let's try them. And so I did, and they were satisfactory. So I think I'm going to be buying store brand chips from now on. Like, why buy, brand named chips if the ones, so so we're going to be experimenting in that way. I would like to share my poor man's meals or whatnot, but I'm just right now just making soups or warming things up, or warming up my canned vegetables, and I have one more servings of my mini corn dogs left in the freezer, and I do have maybe at least half a pint of ice cream left and it's the Haagen-Dazs caramel cone ice cream, very good. And so I'm not suffering. You don't have to suffer if you're poor, but I have $2 left, so that's for emergency gas. I may need it. That should cover me a tank of gas, right? So here's hoping, So that's kind of what's going on there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to revisit the budget, because like I said, I have not been maintaining my budget for several months now. And so I really don't have a system in place or a plan in place where the money goes. I'm in the transition period of going, what do I need to pay now out of this paycheck? Because things are due. Things are due now. Things were due yesterday. Things were due in a couple of days. I just got to get things paid. And then if I got my $20 left over, I'll go to the store and buy some food. It's not very nice, or it's not very good. It's not what you want, right? It's not what I want, So I really didn't want to spend the money that I had left over from last paycheck. But today I just said I had to, because I had less than a tank of gas. And I was like, I really need to put gas in my car if I'm driving for 6 days in the next 7 days. So I'm not driving my car tomorrow. Nope. No, actually I am. I am. Yeah, I guess I'm driving it every day, because I drove it today, and then I drive it tomorrow to my doctor's appointment, and then I have 5 days and then of work, and then the next day I get paid. So let's hope I make it. Let's hope I don't have to go and be like, can I put $2 in my tank? But if I have to, I will. I normally don't do that. I'm not that kind of person, I'm the kind of person that just says, fill her up, but we're trying to be smart and we're trying to correct it. So, yep. So that is how I am correcting my finances before I start a real plan. And I'm putting my real plan together. I have an Excel spreadsheet. I have experience of doing my budget in a way. But now because before I wasn't really good at budgeting, I didn't understand budgets. I had more money than I needed. I had $30,000 in my savings account, and at least $2,000 at all times in my checking account. This was 15 years ago, and I would try to do a budget, but I wish somebody had helped me 15 years ago. I would go back to that person 15 years ago, and I would be giving her the advice that I'm given, or that I know now. I would be like, this is what you should do with their $30,000, But I didn't even have that in a high yield savings account. I was making so much from interest, and it wasn't even $1,000 that I was getting a tax form for it at a bank that pays you very little. I had no one that was like, let's help you out. Let's see where you are. What do you. The more you know. So, needless to say, I didn't really understand budgets. When people talk about budgets, they're like, oh, just do the average. I don't like that, because it's not real, and budgets never equal out to zero, And especially when you're doing averages or just an estimate. And it's very frustrating. And it's like, why am I doing this? Toss, because it's basically trash. So when I first started struggling with money, my only budget was, the only things I tracked were my bills. I got rid of every single bill that I could live without. Every single one. I had like 5 bills maybe. And those were the bills. And then my paycheck would come in and I'd be like, these are what I need to make sure is covered. And that was it. And I was doing pretty good at that. But now I am a little bit more graduated that I need to pay off debt and I need to save. My goal right now is to get back to $30,000 in cash. That would be amazing. To have $30,000 in my savings account ready to go if I need her, you know, like that, to put me back in a place where I was before, where I felt comfortable and I wasn't stressed out at all about finances. I could literally be like, let's just go to New York and I could get a room, not too far from Times Square, or on Times Square, so I'm there. Or, I don't know. So I would love that kind of freedom. But that's kind of like the idea with my little finances. And so that's what this video was really about. Because that's the first step. And I also want to share, since I'm going on vacation, it's a staycation next week. I am going to, like I said, work if I can. But those 5 days I'm off, I'm going to be off. And I want to share, even though I'm poor, I think enjoyment is really important. And I got myself a puzzle. Isn't it pretty? I'm so excited. So I already opened it up. Take a look at it. Look how pretty these puzzle pieces are. Can you see it? Is that pretty? Look at them. I'm so excited. Look at it. This one's really pretty. Or these are pretty too. It's all pretty. I can't help myself. But this is what my project will be. In the meantime, I'm also going to finish listing everything on my Poshmark and also work on my online store. That's what's going to be. So besides the puzzle, that's going to be like the fun thing. But during the day, I really want to be going back through setting up my Shopify store and putting all of that together officially and just trying to put, it's kind of put together, but I need to go back over because it's been like over 2 years since I think I tried to look at it last year, but it's going to happen on those 5 days too. So that's the plan, but that's going to be updated in 2 videos because next video is going to be the video after this week and see if I have enough gas and if I made any interesting meals, I will share them. If they're not, it's going to be normal stuff, that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. But I'm about to do my budget, get that thing started. I'm working on it. And then when I get something together, maybe I'll share it, if I think it seems right or, or helpful or at least entertaining. So, but thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the future. Thank you. Bye.